This is National Native News. I'm Antonia Gonzalez. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has released a draft environmental impact statement on the Pebble Mine project in southwest Alaska. It's a step in the permitting process. Those in opposition of the proposed copper and gold mine worry it could endanger the region's salmon. The United Tribes of Bristol Bay released a statement Wednesday expressing outrage, calling it an inadequate review of the Pebble project, claiming it ignores impacts to people and fish in the region. Pebble Limited Partnership and Northern Dynasty leaders welcomed it and said in a statement, it's a positive development and a clear path forward for the project. The Army Corps will take comments in March through May. A former staff member of the National Congress of American Indians calls on the organization to be more transparent after the announcement this week its executive director, Jacqueline Peda, will be stepping down. In comments to Indians.com, former director of operations Nicole Hollingstead said employees have been pleading for help for years and have been ignored. Peda was put on leave in October following the firing of an NCAI attorney accused of sexual harassment. In a press release, Peda said after having time for thought and reflection, she's decided to resign after 18 years in the position. The statement, which included comments by NCAI President Jefferson Keel, thanked her for her service, but did not address management concerns or the allegations. Peda will continue to lead the organization during the transition. The Keystone XL pipeline has landed in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. That court has opened 5 cases stemming from a Montana federal court order issued in November, amended in December, and again on Friday. Those orders stop pipeline construction until the U.S. State Department receives an environmental impact statement that conforms with the National Environmental Protection Act. The Rosebud Sioux Tribe in South Dakota and the Fort Belknap Indian Community in Montana have also sued the State Department. They're joining as interveners on the side of environmentalists in the appeal. Victoria Wicks has more.
Natalie Landreth is an attorney for the Native American Rights Fund. She and other attorneys represent Rosebud and Fort Belknap tribes in a lawsuit against the Department of State for issuing a permit for the pipeline to cross the U.S.-Canada border. That case is set for hearing in Montana Federal Court on April 10th. Landreth says the Ninth Circuit will decide many issues in the appeals brought forward by the Department of State, TransCanada, environmentalists, and tribes. But Rosebud and Fort Belknap are weighing in on only one.
Initially, Secretary Kerry had denied the permit. The Trump administration comes in and they do an about-face, and they grant the permit, but they don't do any additional record finding. They have no new evidence, no new information. And that's illegal. An agency can't simply make decisions on a whim. It has to do so based on a record and a reason.
Landreth says that is the one claim the two tribes argue in their Montana suit. One of the attorneys for Fort Belknap Indian Community is Dan Belcourt. He says the pipeline is routed through the tribe's traditional homeland and in some cases through sacred, ceremonial, and historical sites located off-reservation. He says he and a tribal council member went to a site on the proposed pipeline route and found a medicine lodge.
It was right there in the middle of the right-of-way, and as far as we knew, there's other sites that were undocumented.
Belcourt says he's ecstatic that Montana federal judge Brian Morris has issued an injunction preventing construction of the pipeline and hopes the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals will uphold that decision. For National Native News, I'm Victoria Wicks in Rapid City, South Dakota.
And I'm Antonia Gonzalez.
National Native News is produced by Koahnic Broadcast Corporation with funding by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
Support by the law offices of Sonosky, Chambers, Saxe, Miller, and Monkman, a national tribal rights law firm with offices in Washington, D.C., New Mexico, California, and Alaska, and online at www.sonosky.com.
Support by BNSF Railway, moving our economy for over 165 years. Our vision is to operate injury and accident-free with safety programs, training, and technology. More at bnsf.com/tribal relations.
Native Voice One, the Native American Radio Network.